everybody. My name is Beatrice Karlsson, and I work at the program department at Stockholm International Film Festival. Welcome to this conversation with Céline Sciamma, director of Petite Maman. The film is selected for our international critics competition and is therefore nominated for the Fipresci Award. Joining us is director Céline Sciamma. Welcome back to Stockholm, Céline. We are thrilled to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
From where are you joining us?
Oh, from Paris.
Oh, you're in Paris?
Yes.
Yes. We would have loved to have you here, but we're so happy that we can arrange this digital setup instead in these times of pandemic still. But so yes, let's get started. First of all, thank you for this beautiful film. It's such a unique story with so much feeling. Could you tell us a little bit about the process of finding the story and the inspiration behind the film?
Well, it's actually the first time that I can look at as accurately when that idea hit me, and it really felt like it hit me in the head, just under the form of an image. This image was two little girls in the forest building a treehouse, and my understanding of that image was that one was the mother and one was the daughter. And the film started unrolling from that very peaceful yet troubling image, like a contemporary fairy tale, but that would come from a very, very ancient mythology.
Yeah, and I also heard that you referenced Miyazaki as one of the inspiration for the film. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, yes, because at first when I had this idea, I was just getting out of promoting my life as a courgette or a zucchini. I don't know, you say it here. And I was really, really connected to the fact that how great it was to write for kids and to interact with a kid audience. And I thought, oh, maybe Petite Maman should be an animated, shouldn't be live cinema. Also, so that it can reach democratically a lot of audiences. And I thought about Miyazaki and how the film is making a never labeled film for kids. They're just great experimental cinema. And then I decided that no, it was a film that I would do live, because it was a film about presence and about ghosts, maybe. But the reference stayed, and I stick with the Miyazaki's spirit throughout the shooting. And when I was stuck on an idea, which means when you're stuck, it doesn't mean you're stuck. It means you don't know what to choose. I was thinking, okay, what would he do? How would he solve that? And it helped me a lot.
Yeah, and you wrote the screenplay for Petite Maman before the pandemic, but was there something about the experience of living in lockdown that made you decide to do this project as your next project?
Yeah, it definitely rushed me into shooting the film. It's a film that I had in mind for years, and suddenly it felt really urgent because it was dealing with kids facing loss and death, elders we couldn't say goodbye to. So the film charged with a collective need, and it was shot during the second lockdown in France. And of course, I think it is full of that moment. It's definitely a film made in 2020 in the middle of a pandemic. Let's hope the middle,
Yes. But yeah, you said it's about loss and grief. Was this something that you had written in the story from the beginning, or was this added now afterwards in regards to our current context?
No, nothing was added. I think it was just charged. A few different feeling, like the first scene of the film, which is like a collective goodbye from to eldest woman in a nursing home, was a very personal image to me. Was kind of aware of how I translated my own mourning experience into cinema, and suddenly this collective goodbye felt totally new. But it's I had sometimes you think about an image and that's always the beauty of the job of the director. It's that you see things that you've imagined. You see things that you have imagined, and sometimes they just change. The meaning changed. For instance, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, they wore masks. It's because I wanted to create a kiss scene that would involve masks. But then the pandemic happened, and now everyone's totally a whole other lecture. And that's why, that's why art is always alive. That's why it's always great to read with our perspective today, things sometimes that we've done like a few months ago, and centuries ago, even more, of course.
Yeah. And so it's also a time travel story, and the way you approach time travel is very new and apart from the more classical sci-fi films, which are very mechanic, or it's about the mechanics of time travel. What appealed you to do this idea about time travel, but in also this very original way?
Well, I think it's one way to tell about time traveling. It depends on what is the opportunity you want to give to your character through time traveling. And I was pretty clear that the opportunity I wanted to give them wasn't tourism in time, wasn't trying to solve anything or make the future better, but rather to spend time together. So once this is the motto, the goal of the time traveling, you get rid of everything that gets in the way of this time shared. And it's also a way to create really a common space. The film is designed to reach the heart of a kid from the 50s and a kid from today. So it's time traveling in a timeless film.
I think it's very interesting how you work with the timelessness, and it's not set in a specific time. But I can imagine that. How did you go about with the design set and the costumes to create this ambiguity of having this timeless setting?
Yeah, that was very, very counterintuitive, and it was sometimes even hard to communicate it to the crew, because like there's two spaces, there's two houses. One should look older than the other, but the idea was to create common space and time. It was through costumes and spaces, and the fact that they were exactly the same, and even sound design. The two here, they just totally designed in the same way. So it's really trying to unite these times rather than separate them and play and be playful with the fact that they are totally mirroring rather than not being the same. And I think it creates this little time traveling machine for yourself that you can now use in your personal life, because it's really easy to imagine yourself building a treehouse with your mother as a kid or your father as a kid. Much more easier than imagining actually traveling through time to meet them. It's pure. You can use it. This is an idea you can have in your pocket and just pop up.
Yeah. And the festival has previously had the pleasure to present Girlhood and Portrait of a Lady on Fire. And we're also, of course, big fans of Tomboy and Water Lilies. And in this film, you're returning to the work with young actors. And how do you go about with finding these and working with these young actors?
Well, I think I only met them. I only met Joséphine and Gabriel Sans to play the parts. I feel like now, as I've been lucky enough to make several films and several films with young cast, they don't just come to the casting. They come for this type of cinema. They come to work with you. So I guess the best quality I can have in casting is be welcoming, because it's like it's a two-side meeting, and also I guess it's really about having it's really about writing characters, because it's not about finding the kid that's going to keep life with you. It's about finding your collaborator, and so handing kids multi-dimensional characters, giving them lines, not relying on improv. Wanting to achieve a strong craft on them to building characters. It's a great way to do casting for kids.
And this year, the festival has motherhood as our spotlight theme. And I think your film is a very original take and story about motherhood. Have you ever thought about what you would ask your mother if you had met her as a child?
well, I did the whole film. I mean, I get excited. I've been asking my question for months now.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I guess mostly, as in the film, they're not asking each other any questions because
No.
I would just try to spend time with her and to mostly to understand her rather than ask her question about things I'm sure she doesn't understand herself.
Yeah.
So it's this idea of being unequal to your mother, which is impossible in life. It's maybe it's about not having any question anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So this year you're not only participating in the festival with Petite Maman, but we also have the pleasure to present the Swedish premiere of Paris 13th District, which you are one of the co-writers of. And it's no secret that we are big fans of your work, and therefore we're of course curious to know if you're working on something new that you would like to tell us about.
I am working on something new that I can't talk about.
Yes.
So, but a little bit exciting. We like Mr.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course, we do. And thank you so much for joining us today. And we're, of course, very happy to present the Swedish premiere of the film. And we wish you the best of luck and hope to see you in Stockholm again soon.
Thank you. I hope I will come. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.